At first, I understood nothing. At this point, you don't need to understand, the rabbi would say. You need to listen and hear with your inner voice, only yours. Because inside of you are all the worlds, the whole universe. Everything written in these books was written about you. You only need to direct your inner receiver to the right frequency. Then you'll hear the inner voice, and then the world will open. Every day, more students would arrive, all very different. They gathered around the rabbi as if they'd heard his call. Yashka, who fought in Afghanistan, Sasha, a biologist, Gadi, a mechanical engineer, Aaron, a professor, Moti, an historian, David, a composer, Roma, a cab driver. The group grew. Everyone arrived in their own way. When I first came to the group, I was amazed that they spoke Russian. The rabbi spoke with a heavy Russian accent, and the students understood very little of the written words. Not that I understand a lot, but at least I know Hebrew. I asked myself, what was I doing here? Maybe I should go to a higher level with people who understand. But it took only 2 to 3 minutes for that gap to disappear. I felt there was nothing that separated me from the others. For the first time, I felt there was something beyond language, beyond any outer limitation, an inner search that we were all taking part in. At that point, I already felt joined to the group and the rabbi. I felt it in my heart. I couldn't get rid of the feeling. The Kabbalah pulled me in further and further. The theater was filled with excited audiences. It became one of the best theaters in the country. I got parts I could only have dreamed of in Russia. I recall that often I'd ask, why do I need the Kabbalah? Throw it all to hell. You see how it's all working out. But every night, some invisible power pushed me out from the house into the group. We studied Rabbi Ashlag's books. He's a great modern Kabbalist who came to the world to tell our generation in understandable terms all about the Kabbalah. His nickname was the Master of the ladder upwards. He explained step by step how a man should move up the ladder, how going upwards will make man able to conquer time and death, and how he'll be able to see the past, present, and future, how to determine his destiny. (1948), the War of Independence. A few days before the war broke out, the Master of the Ladder opens a map of Israel and predicts precisely when and how the battles will be fought. His prophecies came true. He saw the future. That night, we went to the grave of the Master of the Ladder. Many questions went through my head. How does a man attain such power? What must I do to attain it? If you study Kabbalah, the rabbi said, you'll be able to live in two worlds, like the Ladder Master. In our world, as well as in the spiritual world, where you can see all that has happened to humanity. Understand, he said, all the wars, all the disasters, all the events in every man's life as well as in yours, all that has already happened in the spiritual world. Only later does it happen in our world. When you're in the spiritual world, you can affect our world. The cemetery is a dead place for the body, but it is very alive for the soul. You'll be able to unite with the soul of the Ladder Master if each of you wants it enough. At rehearsals, we were working on a new play. I was supposed to play a Nazi, head of a concentration camp, a diverse part, a graphic part. I couldn't understand how to combine my will to study Kabbalah with the theater. With this Nazi part I was playing. My heart was torn. Theater, which had given my life meaning, was now a burden. Despite it all, with great effort, I went to the theater every day, and every day I died again. The part wasn't working. An opening night was coming up. I hated everyone. Myself, the theater, my friends. Home was unbearable too. I understood that I had to reach a decision, however difficult. I had already come to terms with it within myself. I must leave the theater. I went with my decision to the rabbi. The rabbi heard him and answered harshly. You can't leave your profession. You must make an effort to realize your talent. A Kabbalist lives in two worlds. In this world, he's like everyone else. He must work and make a living, raise a family, serve in the army, and while doing so, he must climb the spiritual ladder bridging the gap between the two worlds. The history of humanity is filled with suffering. You and your roles show the audience the source of their suffering. It is because the two worlds are cut off from one another. It's like a tree cut off from its roots. You say the part won't work? Bring it out of yourself, like a Kabbalist would. All the criminals and all the righteous in the world are inside you. Find the murderer in your soul, bring him out from the depths, and show everyone.
אני אדם קטן, אבל הפכתי אותך לכלב שלי. אתה שונא אותי.
Then you'll see the part shine, because it will truly be felt.